My favorite miracle. Welcome to Bible on the Go with Dr. Dan. In Luke chapter 8, my favorite miracle is actually two. One starts and then is interrupted for another miracle and then picks back up again. In fact, I've preached a sermon on this, and to be fair, I heard my pastor preach on this when I was a younger minister, and I thought, what a great title. And later, I used that same title because I thought it really conveyed the point of that passage. The title of my message was When God Puts You on Hold. And we'll see what we're talking about as you look at Luke chapter 8, and it begins in verse 40. There was a synagogue official named Jairus, and his daughter was sick, and so he was a synagogue official. He could get access to Jesus, and because of his power and his influence, he got right up to where Jesus was, and he said, Lord, my daughter's very sick. Come and lay your hand on her, and she'll be healed. And so Jesus agreed, and they start hurrying to Jairus' house. And of course, he's Jesus, so there's people gathering around him and talking to him and trying to get his attention, but he's focused on going with Jairus to heal this sick daughter. And then he stops. What had been going on was there was this woman with an issue of blood. She's very famous. We don't know her name, but she had suffered for 12 years of this issue with her blood and spent all that she had and couldn't be healed. And she saw Jesus from a distance. She reached out and she pushed forward, and she thought, if I could just touch that hem, if I could just touch that tassel, I'll be healed. And when she did, in some amazing, miraculous way, of course, because of the power of God, she was healed. And Jesus stopped and turned around and said, who touched me? And they're like, Lord, there's people pushing and shoving all around you. How can you say, who touched me? He said, I know somebody touched me because power went out of me. And of course, she came forward. She told the story. And he said, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. It was a miraculous, glorious, and wonderful healing. But meanwhile, Jairus was on hold. Jairus was stopped by this action. The woman was an interruption. In fact, we've all heard devotions about how a lot of Jesus' ministry was done when he was interrupted. But the problem here was his daughter was very sick, and he had gotten the attention of Jesus, and Jesus had agreed and was hurrying with him. And at the very moment, Luke tells us, that the woman was told by Jesus, your faith has healed you, go in peace. Someone came from Jairus' house and told him, within earshot of Jesus, don't bother the teacher anymore. Your daughter is dead. What a tragedy. What a disappointment. He'd had the attention of Jesus. Jesus was following him. And what must have been the confusion in Jairus' mind, because they were stopped by this woman pulling on Jesus' tunic and getting her healing. She was completely healed, but now Jairus' daughter was dead. And so what happened was Jesus looked at Jairus, and the words that came from Jesus to Jairus are absolutely amazing. Don't be afraid. Only believe. Oh man, you could probably tell as you think about this passage and as you read along in this passage, it's so powerful because Jesus heard that person say, don't bother the teacher anymore. Your little girl is dead. And Jesus responded in that marvelous and grand and glorious way. Don't be afraid. Only believe. Then they go to her house, and there she is, dead. And the mourners had already gathered around. And Jesus said, stop crying. She's not dead. She's just asleep. The mourners became mockers. They laughed at him. In verse 53, they laughed at him and said, "How can he say this?" And Jesus said, "Child, arise. Child, get up." And her spirit came back into her frame. She stood up, and they were all amazed and shocked. Jesus had just raised Jairus' daughter from the dead. He even said, "Give her something to eat." And I love both of these miracles because the drama in Jairus' life, being stalled by the woman with the issue of blood, was not a problem for Jesus. It seemed like the end for Jairus, but Jesus promised, "Don't be afraid, only believe." And then he literally raised the man's daughter from the dead. What a powerful truth for us. As we read these words about the miracles that Jesus did, we can bring that truth all the way forward to present day. As the circumstances try to tell us one thing, as the prognosis of the doctor tells us one thing, as the bank account balance looks so low, we can hear the words of Jesus say, "Don't be afraid, only believe." Or maybe it's been a chronic problem that's persisted over years, like the woman with the issue of blood. What did Jesus say to that woman? "Your faith has healed you. Go in peace." Two different words of assurance and deliverance to two different people from two different worldviews whose lives intersected on the roads of Palestine during the time of Jesus. Jesus still does miracles. Thanks for watching Bible on the Go with Dr. Dan. If you like these videos, the best thing you can do is hit that red button called subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing, and you only have to do it once. Then you'll see videos pop up when a new one happens every week, and the once a month Bible review video, when it happens, you'll be notified as you come onto YouTube. Also, don't be a stranger. Come visit my website at BibleOnTheGo.org. There you'll find a daily devotional called Praise God. When you click on that link, you'll see the devotional for that day. Praise God.